Welcome back to another PodPaca update. Today, we are going to talk about the largest Halloween party in central Wisconsin, and we'll be answering a few very random questions, but also very fun questions that you won't want to miss. But first, let's talk about the Halloween party. There is a huge Halloween party that happened this past Friday night on the 28th, and it was located at Main Street in Waupaca. Not only was there a huge turnout from Waupaca residents, but there is also a huge turnout from the surrounding area and other small towns, including Iola, Scandinavia, Waupaca, Amherst. There might have been more out of towners than Waupaca residents, and that brought a lot of people downtown.
Yeah, it was packed. I have no idea. If I was going to guess, it had to have been over 2,000 people running around all dressed up, at least. Probably more than that. We'll get the city and the organizers of that program will have a lot better, a lot more accurate number, I'm sure they'll release. But
Oh yeah, and well, we were handing out candy at Lucky Tree, and we estimated that in the first hour of the trick or treating that there was 1,000 kids that stopped and got candy from Lucky Tree. So it was a huge turnout. And if you didn't see me, it was because I was in a giant Squid Game outfit. I was the really tall Squid Game guard person with a circle on its mask, and that was a lot of fun being able to hand out candy to everybody. And I hope everyone had a good time at the Halloween party. There's so many good costumes. I saw a giant Charizard from Pokemon. I saw a really big goal post that was huge, almost a whole street length. It seemed like, I don't know how he was able to balance that. Uh, that looked kind of heavy. Um, and there's a lot of great costumes, and everyone did so much for that Halloween party and make sure all the kids and adults are having a good time. So good job, all the local businesses and organizations that were involved with the Halloween party. Did you see any costumes that you thought were the best, Dad?
it was hard to say, man. I mean, everybody did a great job. Whole families, even dogs. I mean, everything. It was very creative. People, you could tell people put some thought into it. As far as any one that stood out, that would be difficult for me because there was so much. I mean, it kind of reminded me of just a big giant Mardi Gras type situation, without copious amounts of alcohol, because it's little kids. But it was, yeah, yeah, it was fun. It was cool.
It was almost shoulder to shoulder with people, especially in that first hour. There was over 40 businesses handing out candy on Main Street, and then there was also trunk or treat that was at Trinity Lutheran Church, really nearby Main Street. And so there's two Halloween events going on, and then also Jim Miller's pumpkins were there. There's a haunted trail. There's a lot going on.
And how many carved pumpkins were over there? There had to have been hundreds.
Oh, it covered the entire block.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot of effort. That was impressive. So yeah, they went all out. I mean, this is just the second year of this. And yeah, we got to give a hats off to the organizers and all the people that, make that go. And all the participation is incredible.
That might be the largest event Waupaca has ever had.
Yeah, quite possibly. Like I said, they've had other cool things in the past, like the potato bake, where they turned the whole town into a mini golf course. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope everyone had fun at that event, but that's not the only trick or treating that's happening in Waupaca. There's, of course, the normal trick or treating that's happening on Halloween night from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And that's the times for Waupaca. I can't say that's the same times for other local small towns like Iola, Amherst, and so on. So make sure to check online for times that are not in Waupaca.
There was a article in last week's local paper It's a pretty cool article. I read it. I did like it about pretty much like paranormal activity in Waupaca. If you get a chance, read it. I found it to be interesting. But they'd mentioned a show that many people know called Stranger Things, where Waupaca got some notoriety because one of the actors on the show was wearing a Waupaca, Wisconsin t-shirt with a white-tailed deer uh, printed on it in a run. So, the paper had mentioned that it just a little bit in that article. But I just thought I would make everyone aware that there is a local business in town ran by two wonderful people, Brad and Sue, um, and they have those shirts. They had them printed. They've had them for a while. They have all kinds of different colors, sizes, that sort of thing. So, and I'm sure they would appreciate shopping local instead of, maybe getting it online or whatever. If you're familiar with Waupaca, they're over by the China House, Waupaca Hometown Pharmacy, and that's the same little area right there. And besides that, it's like I said, it's called Team Outfitters. If you looked up Team Outfitters Waupaca, you could find them pretty darn easy. So,
Yeah, and don't get Team Outfitters mixed up with Adventure Outfitters if you're trying to look up Team Outfitters. And also, getting the shirt at Team Outfitters is going to be a lot cheaper than trying to find it online. I know it's a little difficult to find online, and what is available is a bit expensive. So, going local with Team Outfitters, or maybe if you aren't in the area and you want the shirt, and maybe give them a call and see what they can offer. I bet they would really appreciate that. We thought it'd be fun to have a little Q&A where we answer a few questions that are kind of random and fun to get to know more about your PodPaca hosts. So the first question is, if there's a meal you had to eat for dinner every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
oh, that's easy. Cheeseburgers.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking cheeseburgers as well. Pasta or pizza would at least you're getting some protein with a cheeseburger.
An egg sandwich would be it's probably my second pick. I like egg sandwiches.
Yeah, I think cheeseburgers, maybe a second pick would be chicken sandwich.
Hey, what's the next question?
What do you think is the best television show you have ever watched?
Oh, wow. I it's hard for me to categorize. Because I put them in categories, like, drama, that kind of thing, comedy. It's hard to pick an overall show. I would say Northern Exposure. I always like that. Uh, and right up there too is like Justified. I thought that was a little more real for me because it reminded me of where I grew up and down home, around the Indiana, Kentucky area. So,
I guess when I think of the best show I've ever seen, it would probably be Breaking Bad.
yeah, yeah, that's a really good one.
As far as a comedy goes, I really like The Office. I also
Mhm.
like Parks and Recreation a lot because the Pawnee, Indiana, it really reminds me of Waupaca in some ways. Makes me wonder how similar is that Parks and Recreation department to ours in Waupaca.
Oh, I, I can't imagine it's quite that quirky, but
Yeah.
when you're talking about comedies, I mean, I've got to kind of go with the Big Bang Theory. I always enjoyed that. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with TV right now.
I think television is kind of struggling compared to the early 2010s. There's so many good shows in the early 2010s going on all at the same time.
Well, yeah, you remember I've been around a while, so I watched MASH and shows that don't get enough credit, in my opinion, like Barney Miller, stuff like that. There's just been a lot of top quality shows that were, but now a lot of it just seems kind of like rubbish. that one show that's on now. And I'm not really into comedies that much, but that I've watched a couple episodes of that show, Ghost. And it's a kind of an ensemble cast, and I think they do a pretty good job. There's some funny stuff in there.
Yeah, sitcoms are not doing as well as they used to, especially when Big Bang Theory ended.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I think the best shows on right now, Rick and Morty
Pickle
is
Rick.
probably is definitely top three for best shows on right now. And The Boys, I would also put up there
Yeah,
on Amazon. And well, Stranger Things was pretty fantastic. So I guess that'd be my top three for shows that are still currently on.
current shows. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just need to give them more of a chance. And plus, this time of year, I record every football game on TV, so I spend a lot of time,
Yeah.
which is nice because you record them and then you get through all the commercials and the BS. You're only literally only watching it for like an hour and 15 minutes. So you can really cut that time down. I don't need to watch 2 hours of ads. So, or watch them interview the coaches and tell so they can tell you the same thing every game. We need to execute. We need to we need to play defense. We need to tackle. Well, yeah, no kidding, man. It's football. So they never tell you. I don't even know why they do those interviews. So, we need to execute our game plan better. Well, yeah, you're down by 28. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah, same with basketball. Oh, it seems like you're struggling with scoring. Well, we need to get more balls in the hoop. And Greg Popovich is great with that. If you've ever seen him give a
Yeah, some of those
mid-game
guys,
interview.
use sarcasm to the max, and it's just hilarious. You know, Bill Belichick, man, he's classic. I would not want to play poker against that dude, man. You can't tell what's going on in that head. He's always just stonewalled, man. It's just wow.
The final question is, if there was a celebrity that you would want to fight in a boxing match, what celebrity would you pick to fight?
I like to think I'm a little wiser with age, so I'm not going to pick like Dwayne Johnson because he could break me in half with his pinky. That's not going to happen. I'm going to go with John Oliver. I think I could take John Oliver. It'd be close, but I think in the end I could take him.
That'd be really interesting to see. I don't know how tall he is. You might be around the same height, but
I think
so
I got
that
him. I got him in weight. If I could get a hold of him quickly before I got tired, I might be able to use my weight and get him to the ground.
I
But
don't know if you might have a reach advantage. I don't know.
he might. He might. And yeah, I'm not disrespecting you, John Oliver. I actually watch your show a lot and really like it. So, and that there
Oh yeah.
again, this is my second attempt at a sad ploy to get you on our podcast. So if you're listening, reach out. We'd love to have you.
I'll just go with another late night host. I'd go with Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, you're young and like 6'7", I think that might intimidate somebody, and it's not like you're this skinny tall guy either. You got some bulk, man. Yeah, if I was Jimmy Fallon, I don't think I'd want to get in there with you.
Well, in the future we might have some more audience Q&As. So look on Facebook for anything with that in the future. Make sure to follow us on Facebook or Instagram to see more audience participation events like that. We want our listeners and watchers on YouTube to be able to feel more involved with the podcast. So by following us on Facebook or Instagram, that's how you can do that. But now we're going to move on to our shout outs to end off this PodPaca update. What is your shout out this week, Dad?
I actually have two. Something happened a few days ago. I had a doctor's appointment, and I had to do lab work or whatever. Anybody does lab work or they draw blood or whatever, knows it doesn't take very long at all.
Uh-huh.
So I went in and they drew the blood and all that. Anyway, I was coming back out and I was walking down the sidewalk heading towards my vehicle to leave. This person came running up to me saying, "Oh, can you help me? Can you help me?" And I'm like, "What's going on?" And it's like, "Oh, somebody has fallen and need help getting this person back up." And I thought about that for a second, and just for a second, we didn't want to waste a bunch of time, obviously. Um, but it was decided very quickly that she should go in and get and tell them and get the professionals out there, because if somebody falls and it was an older person, I don't want to go out there and start yanking on them, trying to pull them up and hurt them even worse, because
Yeah.
that's so I went out in the parking lot and just made sure the person was comfortable and just kind of stayed with them, talked to them, made sure they weren't all twisted up or whatever. But they were fine. They were fine. They just couldn't get back up. But I seriously, and my shout out goes to ThedaCare and their staff this week, because within seconds, this people were sprinting out of that building, nurses and I don't know if the doctors or who they were. I didn't have a conversation with them because there was an emergency, but I mean, seriously, they were on top of the situation in seconds. I mean, it's like they coordinated it on the run too, because it's like, "Oh, you go get a wheelchair, you do this, and boom, man." And they were just all over it. I do not believe the person was hurt, but like I said, out of caution, I don't think you need to, someone falls, you don't, that's older. I don't think you need to be over there trying to, lift them up and so forth and hurt them even worse in case it was a back injury or a neck injury or something. That's when you have the professionals. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting long-winded with this, but
It's okay.
shout out goes to the professionalism and just how quick they were to be on top of what potentially could have been a bad situation. It was very impressive. So that's my shout out this week. And just wanted to thank all the folks at ThedaCare. My second shout out actually goes to an individual, one of the greatest people I've ever known, and that's my son, Joe. His 21st birthday is tomorrow. Seriously, he is absolutely one of the most wonderful people I've ever known. I'm incredibly proud you're my son, and hey, happy 21st birthday, man. I can't wait to have a beer with you tomorrow. So,
Well, thank you for that. And thank you for a shout out for me, but more importantly, today the care, because that did sound like quite the situation and they handled it really, really well.
they
And
did.
that's stuff you just don't hear about enough.
Exactly.
And I hope that, and this is one of the things we're hoping to do with these shout outs, is to share more things like this to give recognition where it's deserved. Well, my shout out this week is to the city of Waupaca and everyone else involved in the Halloween party, including the police department as well. There were a lot of people at this event. This is something that could have been out of control, because I think there is a lot more people than expected at this event. And it was a very safe, very family friendly event. And everyone did a great job of controlling the event and making sure everyone had a good time. So shout out to everyone who organized and made sure the event stayed steady for the entire duration of the event.
Yeah. Hey, what was your mom dressed up like? She looked kind of like a shaggy Bigfoot or something. What was she supposed to be?
Care Bear.
Oh, a Care Bear. Okay. I was like looking, going, it kind of looks like a Bigfoot, but I can't really tell.
Yeah.
Like a build, kind of a combination of a Bigfoot and a chow dog. I couldn't tell, it's just I'm sure she'll appreciate that.
And
I'll get a look.
well, that's it for this episode of PodPaca update. Make sure to check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and make sure to listen to our new episodes that come out on Tuesday nights. Our next episode will be with Waupaca Historical Society Director Tracy Barrett. That's an episode you won't want to miss. So until next time, this has been PodPaca Update. See you all later.
Yeah, take care and enjoy your Halloween and then the rest of your fall.